Okay, another quick video. This one is regarding the, to me, ever-growing problem. As people who've been following me for a while know, I once was a supporter of Senator Bernie Sanders for president. I volunteered for his campaign for a little bit when my husband and I were still in the homeless shelter. But I'm an independent voter. I've supported other candidates in the past, including Ralph Nader and Ron Paul for president. So that's why, to me, and I later on voted in the general for Jill Stein, or at least I put in my ballot for her. My guess is it was flipped to the war criminal that is Hillary Rodham Clinton, but that's beside the point in this particular case. Bottom line is that by Sanders continuing activities to push the Russian narrative nonsense, he's helping lead us into, at the very least, a second Cold War, if not a third World War. And that's a huge problem. Also with the Medicare, his medical care bill, he's created an almost unmitigated disaster if that thing ever actually passes, which formulary wise, if you look at Robert's rules and how bills are supposed to be, formatted to be passed into laws, it's not even frickin' formatted right, let alone the actual content of the legislation, which is mostly what I went into on my article on Medium. It's a complete disaster. It's kind of the worst of Medicare, Medicaid, and the existing VA programs all mashed up into one huge frickin' mess and added a bunch of tax increases. So, it's a complete mess. My attitude at this point is, and I'm seeing more and more Sanders quote-unquote hardy supporters. My guess is most of them were used to be Clinton supporters, because they've gone, or at the very least, it's just a continuation of the same problem of forming a cult of personality around someone without focusing on the issues. And that's not what I am. I'm an issues-based activist. For a little bit, that's why the Sanders thing was unusual for me, is that I never really tried to even support directly a candidate before in terms of volunteering. I always volunteered for the issues themselves and the groups that supported them in various ways. I never really went for a candidate. Sanders was the first national candidate that ever was close enough to me on a variety of issues to where I said, okay, let me give this a shot. And turned into being a place to meet a lot of great people. But at this point, he's a complete disaster. So in terms of what he's doing right now. So that's why at the very least I call him Sheepdog Sanders at this point. I get the fact that, yeah, he may have been threatened. He may have been beat up. But that doesn't excuse what's happening. And that doesn't mean that we should just follow him blindly. Because, in essence, if at best case scenario we're finding people are following someone who is being forced at, in essence, gunpoint to follow the narrative, then we're following someone who's being taken hostage and treating them like they're a leader in control, when in reality we're thusly following a gun point in terms of leading the country, someone behind the scenes, which is really freaking sick. And so I want to tell people, keep your independence, keep focused on the issues, because we've got so many issues, we've got so many things wrong. I gotta fix this. Cults of personalities never frickin' win. do the research, follow the issues. Shalom.